guys, are you ready for the ultimate showdown this weekend at UFC 298? Join me in the action by leaving your picks for the fights in the comments below. I have teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, and right now, new customers get a no-sweat bet. You can get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your pick doesn't hit. Minimum deposit $5. Sign up using my promo code Sonnen. And DraftKings has something for existing customers as well. All customers get SGP insurance every day. Get a bonus bet back if one leg of your SGP bet loses. Minimum number of legs required and max bet vary. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, do not worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. New customers use my promo code Sonnen and you get a no sweat bet. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Is Ian Garry going to win? You know, I was just in an interesting argument just now, right now, and I lost. The argument went like this. Does Ian Garry fight this weekend? Chael? No, he doesn't. He fights in Miami. Turns out he fights this weekend. And I'm not quite sure how I don't know that. And I would accept a level of responsibility, but I live in this space. And I understand it's my job. It's my livelihood to know, but I would just let you know I'm very professional at my job. And I do it nonstop. Nonstop. My hobby is also my job. So if I don't know that he's fighting, there's been a mistake made. And I was right. By the way, talk about how good I am at this. I was right that he was fighting in Miami. That announcement was made. I am right about all those things. They moved the fight, apparently, to Anaheim, and it's this weekend. But how did we go from one of the biggest stars, for sure the biggest star in a division, for sure. I would put him, in all fairness, behind Colby. I think Colby could get more attention, more shows, be more recognizable. But I put him over Leon, who's our champion. I don't mean it as disrespect. Ian Garry was red hot. He's fighting in Anaheim. I fly out to Anaheim this evening to cover the event. I didn't know he was fighting. I argued. How'd we get there? I can't put it all on Garry, by the way. He's fighting Jeff Neal. Now, Jeff Neal hadn't said boo. Not one word. Not a sound has Jeff Neal made. So I don't put it all on Garry, but how did we get here? I assume he's the main card fight. I can't guarantee that because I didn't know he was fighting. And it's a very relevant thing of how did we get it? Because what do we do with it now? Who does Garry want to fight? What happens if Garry wins? Is Garry in victory forgiven? Is everything gone? Only thing in America that matters, or at least the number one criteria in America, is success. If you have success, it doesn't matter what you did or how, as long as you have it. Doesn't matter how you got it. You can judge our entire country and our culture if you want. I'm just identifying and verbalizing a reality. So, is that the case? Or has he not forgotten? I don't see with victory any fight that's out of reach for Ian Garry. None. Now, on December 16th, when he was supposed to compete, I would not have made that prediction for you. I believe it was very clear Belal Muhammad gets dibs. And even though, and to remind you of December 16th, we had 3 welterweight fights on the main card. Of the 3, all of them were ranked in the top 10. It was a real display of welterweights. So we thought, well, maybe the number 1 contender's coming out of here. But number 1 contender is difficult to do when you have a backup fighter known as Belal Muhammad, who's already been announced to be next. So I'm taking you to my mindset of December 16th, but now being armed with the fact the Belal is not guaranteed that shot. He might get it. He's not guaranteed it. Knowing that that ball is back up in the air. Knowing that Rakhmonov, the most likely suspect, if anybody, I don't think anybody should replace Belal. If somebody's going to replace Belal, knowing that Rakhmonov is off the table because he's injured, yeah, it falls to Ian Garry. You bet it does. Now, you got to rehash a story that they never should have let die. And I'm not predicting for you that Garry will be fighting for the title next. What I'm trying to say for you is everything is possible. So, what does Garry want to do? Because we're going to find out if he wins right after he wins. A guy is far, and I'm talking exponentially, more likely to get what he asks for in his post-fight interview than 100 other media opportunities put together. So if Gary's called out Sean Strickland, which he has, wants to change weight classes, wants to go after Sean, if that's real, if that's truly what he wants, and I wouldn't blame him if he changed his mind, he wants to stay at 170. I wouldn't blame him in any direction. I'm sharing for you. I don't know what he wants. I don't know where he's going. I didn't even know he was fighting this weekend. I accept no responsibility for that. While not putting it all on him, Jeff Neal done an even worse job. But whatever he wants, if he gets a win, he is very likely to get. And that includes Sean Strickland. If he truly wants a grudge match with Sean, if he makes that crystal clear, and only that, right? Like, don't think that guys will disguise what they want. They'll find a way to not get it and then act like, what? If you throw out 3 different options and Sean is one of them, you didn't want it. If Ian Garry puts all of his army and points the guns in one direction, whatever that is, and that includes Leon. But that is the moment where we find out what he really wants. And I don't know. I think he's a special talent. Jeff Neal is a real test. Jeff Neal is a very good fighter. I'm not convinced anybody, aside from a shot that slips through, some people like to call it a lucky punch, can deal with Garry on his feet. And Gary's very elite on his feet, and I'm not convinced that Jeff Neal has what it takes to get him off his feet. But if he does, he only needs to do it twice. You got to win all 3 rounds. You got to win all aspects of the fight. Take him down and keep him there 2 of the 3 rounds. Things will go real well for you. It's an interesting fight. I think there's a lot riding on the fight. I'm more interested for post-fight. I want to hear from Neal. I want to hear about the relief that Neal's dealing with. Neal isn't not talking about Garry because he doesn't know how to promote or know that promoting is important. He doesn't want to put that extra weight on himself. He's very nervous about this fight. That's fine. But that's where that's coming from. So I like to hear it. I hope that he admits that. I hope he said, man, there was a lot on me. I don't want to lose to the guy that nobody wants to lose to. I'd like to hear about that. But I'd also like to hear what Garry really wants to do. And I know we've pulled him a whole lot of directions, and I know he gets the world's worst advice. So take it from the world's best guy at giving advice. Whatever you really want, that's up to you. I'm not putting pressure on you. But whatever that is, you have one chance to say it. That's in the ring to Rogan after a victory. Use that bullet wisely.